My guest, and of course, you're listening to Spot On with Vernon Derby, and we are quite proud, quite happy to have Dr. Nicole Manning, Director of Operations at the CXC, and Dr. Eduardo Ali, Pro Registrar and Deputy CEO for the CXC. Well, good afternoon again. Now, I know that CXC is coming from very far, and you probably would know why I know so much. But you seem to have upstaged the whole time. You'd have first year, second year, third year, and I'm sure you were not born then. And then you had senior Cambridge and all these exams, GCE, and all one was required to do is write these long essays. And if you can write the quiz English and you can write probably 20, 30 pages, you might get an A. And there come this exam developed right here in the Caribbean. Why did you so you guys bright? Right here in the Caribbean, and tell me if I'm wrong, my understanding you put emphasis on objective testing, so it's not who can write 20, 30 pages, but you ask specific questions and there are certain objectives that have to be met. And you don't meet it and you fail. And many bright children could understand why. So, and I don't think the nation on the Caribbean has realized that CXC has really created something new for the area. And I understand that other examinations across the world are following. Am I giving fake news?
I think you're right. You're spot on.
I'm spot on. Yes.
Exactly so. And so, it's very important and intriguing the fact that as a Caribbean people, we have been able to pull together and work with our various stakeholders to get this done. We do offer quite a few examinations at different levels. We offer the CXC exam at the 5th form or 11th grade level, as well as, which is commonly known as secondary, and post-secondary 6th form upwards. We offer the CAPE, that's the advanced examination. And we have 32 subjects for the CXC.
32?
Yes, and we have 36 for the CAPE.
Yeah.
And remember, the CAPE has both Units 1 and Unit 2.
Yes.
So you have, of course, you do have some like the Caribbean studies and communication studies that are singular in units. So it is very good. And we do offer to quite a few candidates across the region annually, over 100,000 candidates, more than 600,000 subject entries. That means candidates registering for various subjects. So it is really, we're really trying to reach the Caribbean as much as possible. English, French, and the Dutch-speaking Caribbean, we offer over 21 countries. So it's not only the 16 that would have signed on to CARICOM, but yes, we offer to others, other countries. And it is really our pleasure.
Really? Tell me about some of those, see, many of us would even know that, tell me about some of those other countries that you offer.
Yes, so we offer to Saba, St. Eustatia, Suriname, Curacao, and St. Martin, and so on. So it is very important to note that we have been doing that, and it's indeed our pleasure.
Well, what a thing when we turn around and we start now to set the exams for the United Kingdom and other places. I would be surprised. But I gather they have been learning from us. Am I correct?
Well, in 2020 in particular, when we were able to manage the COVID stresses and we were able to do the actual examinations, administration, marking and grading of those candidates with a model that is, of course, benchmarked and founded on key technical assessment principles. And, we published a document. We have placed it online for those who are interested in the technical details. But of course, we got good commendation for getting that done, even from our competitors. So that was also very good.
So we're looking at colonization in reverse. What a thing.
Marvelous, yes.
Yes, and I tell you, we can truly be proud because, while there might be a few complaints, I don't think that there have been many complaints about CXC at all. Now, you have CXC exams coming up, yes, May, June. And sometimes I wonder if it's the parents doing the exam or the children. Tell us about that.
We are fairness, let us say, we do expect and we know that the parents would want to be a part of that process. I being a
Yes.
parent myself, it's nervous at this time, but we say to the parents, the children have done the work. And we believe that along with their support, their continued support, because we do have in-school candidates and we have candidates who are out of school, because we are supporting both groups. So those who are in school who may rest a little bit more depend a little bit more on their parents. We provide other support to them also, but it's very good. And I must commend and applaud the parents for their support, their commitment
Yes.
to the students, because it's important. It's our future. And so, yes, you've said we have a few complaints, but we would say that for the most part, everything has been going very well. Exams started on May 1st, written exams, and we continue all the way through to June 13th.
Yeah.
So all exams will be completed by then. And I'll share with you, if it is that persons have complaints, we have formal mechanisms for persons to utilize. I'll just say it now, and I can repeat it probably a few times. It's the CXC EZO at cxc.org. CXC EZO at cxc.org. And we do welcome the information because it allows us to do the necessary investigation and to ensure that no one is disadvantaged at
By
all.
the way, you just taught the nation something, that we can make an email address simple and easy to remember. Please educate the rest of us. We don't have to have an email, the best product in the whole of the world. And if I leave off one E, I have a problem. Now, you're using some terms that I don't even understand. I guess I leave school long time. By the way, like when I leave school long time, if I feel like, I like Spanish, I never do like Spanish. I could just go back at my age and do Spanish.
Absolutely.
So it's not only for children, it's for all. I see what you
Everybody,
mean.
out of school candidates, persons who have left, because we are encouraging that. And I know later on we'll speak a little bit more about it,
Yes.
on the products that we're coming out with. But right now, our current products, anyone can do them. And we do have quite a bit of out of school candidates. Persons, as you said, you left school and for whatever reason you want to embark on a particular area, you can freely go in and apply, register privately to do
Well,
any of the CXC
I
exams.
will tell you something. I don't know if that lady is listening to me, but she dropped out of school because she had to look after her daughter. And next you know, her daughter is a big consultant in the United States of America. And at the age of 96, she decided to go back to university and got her associate degree. We talked about Violet Edwards, which I must tell you was announced on this program. And CNN, BBC, everybody picked it up, and she's now in Jamaica. So good afternoon, Mrs. Edwards. She's now nearly 100. Can you imagine? Did her associate degree at 96, and she travels on her own. Same way. Now, let me see. We have a few more minutes before we take a little break there. We have another 6 minutes. You are here. You talk about. You guys use some words sometimes. You're confusing me. E-assessment and hybrid and ES. What is this all about now? I see Dr. Ali keeping very quiet. I don't know if he's very silent. I don't know if he's the silent partner.
No,
well, I mean, Dr. Manning will speak to the examinations, and then I will come in after with some of the developments we engaged in.
Oh, okay. Yes, so tell me about this.
So yes, it's exciting times. Of course, we're living in a world of digitalization and digitization. You hear all of those words. But the transformation that needs to happen as we are even using this mechanism, we have integrated media and all of that. That's your world. And so
My world?
as you embark on this new area, we want to make sure that our students are also not only doing the exams, but equipped in utilizing the mechanisms that they are going to go out there and use, because they are digital natives. They're used to their phones, they're used to their laptops, they're used to all of that. So we're going with them and we're saying,
I'm not going to agree with you. They used to play with their figures, but to an extent, that's why we need CXC. To an extent, they understand the technology, and to an extent, they're helping to create the technology and not be consumers. I question that. And you continue.
You are 100% correct. So we do have subjects that we offer, like digital media, animation and game design. So we do have subjects like that they're not
Okay.
only right. So they're not only doing their thing on their phone, but they're actually using the technology to create and innovate. So let us give that some
So is
credit
that
there.
about what they call it? Arithmetic, whatever. Oh, so you guys are gone.
Right.
What a thing! What a thing!
So we're trying to allow them to
Yes,
learn how to do assessment online. So they have been over the years. CXC
yes.
started in 2017, and we have found that we have quite a few candidates across the region doing the electronic assessment. So come 2026 January exam, because that's our smaller cohort.
Yeah.
We're going to be working with that group where we'll be doing the assessment online. The multiple choice component. You remember we used to shade those, and they still shade
Yes.
them for May, right? So they still do it for the May, June exams currently as we
Yes.
speak. But for the exam, some territories, some countries do it online. But we're saying come January, all territories will do the multiple choice exams online. And I'm telling you something, Vernon, it is so easy for them because they're so used to selecting things, whether by laptop or otherwise. The selection of those options, their option answer, it's really so easy for them.
But
And
guess what now? Somebody's going to say, all sex encourages to people to copy. But I said, out of the old fashion, sex is not about having information and regurgitating it. It's about
that's
how you
right.
understand or you explain. So go and copy. Yeah, in the parlor, copy your friend name. And by the way, I'm quite aware that when people do copy, you have ways of ascertaining very easily. The
Thank you
nation.
very much for that. I can have you come over, man, because you're doing very well. That is so true.
When you've
Yes,
been around, you see. Um,
yes,
I don't
yes.
know if I can still pass the exam, but I can tell you, but you need to probably put up something and give them an idea as to how you use the technology scientifically, how you have sample papers and how you mark them, and based
Yes.
on what you get and how you standardize the marking. As far as I know, the old time GC and all them stuff never go through that at all. So I'm very concerned that I don't think you have marketed yourself enough, and I'm going to help in that process. So we understand that we have created something right here in the Caribbean, second to none. We have a few more minutes. Yes, before we have 2 more minutes. So up to you.
So let me just close off on the e-assessment because when we get back, we'll move on. So yes, the multiple choice is one, but you remember back in the days, you got your question paper and your answer booklet separately.
Yes.
So we are now, another component of the electronic assessment is to put the question paper online and to have the students answer in the booklet. So those students who have internet issues, we are saying that once you download, you access the paper, you won't have to do anything. You just answer in your booklet. So we're not disadvantaging anyone, but at the same time, taking our time step by step to move in that direction because that's where the world is moving. So we are equipping them to use it as well as equipping them to innovate.
So is that about regurgitating? No, you better know your stuff.
That's
It's just amazing. CXC. I just tell you, I just love that logo. Very simple and very effective logo. All right, gonna take a little break now. We come back. We continue to learn more about CXC. Very fascinating exam, and proud that it has developed right here in the Caribbean. And my information is that other examination bodies across the world have been looking at it and looking at how it has been developed and how it is working. And I want to thank my very special guests, Dr. Nicole Manning, Director of Operations, and also Dr. Eduardo Ali, Pro Registrar and Deputy CEO for the CXC. This is Spot On with Vernon Derby. Welcome back. You're listening to Spot On with Vernon Derby, coming to you live from Kingston, Jamaica. We're right in the middle of the Caribbean Sea, where we say, what? We little but we Talawa. And of course, it's Be My Guest, and we're talking about little but we Talawa. We're talking about the CXC exam, yeah, man. The liquor exam, liquor but in Talawa, it's big if you ask me. Right, so welcome back, my very special guests from the CXC. We have Dr. Nicole Manning, Director of Operations at the CXC, and also Dr. Eduardo Ali, Pro Registrar and Deputy CEO. We were talking about what you want us to move on to the next area. So you go right ahead, Dr. Manning, because I'm so fascinated about the changes, and I'm sure my listeners are.
Yes, so thank you very much again for us to be having this conversation. And as I shared earlier, I want to just remind listeners again of that email address, if I may, Mr. Darby. It would be very useful for them to send any concerns and information regarding any feedback they want to give us, cxcezo@cxc.org. And as you mentioned earlier, we are doing quite a bit in terms of the expanse of our products. And as we not only prepare the student candidates, we said we prepared other persons who are even out of school candidates. So I know we wanted to look at what do we do? What does this mean for us in terms of preparing the candidates, the students, whether in school or out of school, for the global competitiveness? Because
Yes.
persons travel all over. So it's not only being in the Caribbean, but also as they move around, we ensure that they are very much prepared. So Dr. Ali is back with us. I'll allow him to go first, just to speak a little bit about our artificial intelligence. You know, AI is another big
Before
area.
you get into that, let me stop you right there. I don't support this artificial intelligence. It is not artificial. It is assimilated. Man, don't make up nothing. That's my personal opinion. I'm sure Dr. Ali will disagree with me.
Well, thank you very much, Vernon. And I
Yes,
think Dr. Manning would have given an indication as to some of the developments that are engaged.
yes.
Just to say, broadly speaking, you mentioned before that we have been looking at what happens across the global space. In fact, we have not just only looked at what's happening globally, but we have been able to do some trending towards 2050. So we have a sense of what the world is going to look like in the field of education by 2050. And as a result of that, we have done some what we call backcasting, another technical word, but what it basically means is you look to the future and then you come back to the current reality and you trace where you are now in relation to where you want to go in the future.
And by the way, you didn't talk to Obia, man. You didn't talk to
No. There's a lot of research, global trends and other things that guides what happens in the global space.
Yes.
And so we have been looking at that very intently and intentionally, because what we want to do is to make sure that every learner in the region, taking the products that we have, taking the examinations that we do, are not being prepared just for the current environment, the current world in which we operate, but are prepared for the future. And so a lot of what is developed in relation to our qualifications are aligned to those global trends. So we are
you don't have to respond here. You're not into politics. I just hope if any politician is listening, they will hear what you have to say. You're not talking to Obia, man. You're not talking to any prophet. You're looking at global trends and you're planning what, do you say 50 years?
Yes, and there's quite a bit out there projecting what
I have a
2050.
suggestion. Please set up an exam for leaders about that, looking ahead.
All right.
Moving right ahead. So I'm just
we will try our best. But generally that's what we do. We have to be forward thinking and futuristic in whatever we do to ensure that the learners we have in the region now are not just prepared for jobs currently, as it relates to what the region needs. But of course, these citizens of the region are working within a very broader world context. And so what are the skills needed for that world? What
Yes.
are the industries that are emerging in the world that we need to be aware of? And so there are jobs that are coming up that we have to take cognizance of. There are skills that are needed that we have to take cognizance of. And so that is why we do that type of research to guide where we are now. But
Forgive me,
AI
let
is
me just interrupt you there again.
Sure,
We talk
sure.
about jobs, and I'm a little bit concerned that when we talk about exams and training, we talk about jobs. And you know our history in terms of days of enslavement. And
Yes.
some will tell you that when you get a job is a modern form of slavery. I don't agree with you totally. But what about preparing us to be entrepreneurs, to be creative? To what extent is the examination looking at that? Because you
Right. So
mentioned jobs a few times, that's why.
you are right. Well, when I say jobs, I mean a job could be for an entrepreneur who creates his own job
Okay.
for him to operate within that broader space. So entrepreneurship is obviously a very important endeavor for every individual. There are a
Yes.
lot of young people who are what they call social entrepreneurs. They are persons who are working within the social media space and making a lot of money, more than you and I,
I
working
can
with
tell you
social
why, because
media.
many of them are social mischief makers.
Well, I mean, there's some of that,
Yes,
but
yes, I know.
but they're out there and they're
Yeah.
utilizing the social media space to their advantage, and they are actually capitalizing on those.
Yes, they
So the
are.
extent to which we use digital media, and I think Dr. Manning made reference to some of that before, in terms of the opportunities for entrepreneurs, the opportunities for companies that are working with the future in mind, to think about what those occupations would be. Now, as an organization, we do not only train persons for jobs. We educate individuals for life and for livelihood.
Okay.
And for
Well,
life and
hold on.
livelihoods
Take time.
basically means
That's right. That's it. You educate people for what? For
for
life
life,
and
for
for
life.
livelihood.
For life, living, and livelihoods.
What
And
a
so
thing.
what that means basically is we give you a suite of skills for you to adapt to a changing society, for you to be able to work within the current space that you're operating in. So problem solving skills, conflict resolution skills, all of those things that are needed for persons to
Yes, yes.
survive in the communication skills that they need now. But at the same time, the
Since you mentioned
technological,
communication skills, I interrupt you again. Probably
yes.
need to have a course for some of our leaders in the society, in business and so on, and in politics too,
Well,
because I'm telling you, they have failed miserably in terms of communicating, and that's why we have problems at many workplaces, because they can't communicate effectively to the workers. I just
Well,
throwing
we
something
we
here, so you
have
need to
we
have
have a
some courses
range
for them.
we have a range of products for a range of people, and I guess
Yes,
anyone who's interested can access those at the level which they're interested. And there are others out there as well,
yes, yes.
different purposes, for leaders, for entrepreneurs, for general citizens who are looking to advance themselves.
Really?
And
So
so
hold on. I thought I was bright and coming up with ideas, and you are telling me you have all that already. So it's just for these leaders to make contact with the CXC and find out what is happening.
So what we have, and Dr. Manning was alluded to the AI, and I'll come to that briefly in a moment. But what we
Yes.
do have, in fact, are a range of what we call, I'm using terms again, but pardon me for those who are listening on, we have what we call classic products. These are the regional developed examinations we were just talking about, right?
Yes.
That's for everyone in every country, including the Dutch Caribbean countries that was referenced earlier. They can take the regional exams. But in addition to that, we work with every country to help them produce nationally relevant exams that are regionally certifiable. So what
Oh.
is offered in Jamaica, for example, by the government of Jamaica, they can come to us. We have standards for what we expect in terms of delivery, what we expect for assessment, but we also have standards. There's skills, a range of skills that we have. We have, Vernon, mapped over 239 skills that we have identified for the next 5 years that are within what we have in a suite of skills that we are now reflecting in every syllabus that we develop, which will be reflected in every examination or assessment that's done. Those are preparing persons for the now, but also for the future. And so the extent to which those skills are concerned looks at what the global trends have said. There's a lot that is being said about what 2030 would look like for skills. And we have already considered all of those skills and brought them into our current, we are bringing them into our current syllabuses and examinations to address those skills generally. So to a large extent, we're looking at that. And AI is no different. AI, in fact, provides opportunities for individuals to be able to use the technologies wisely, judiciously, ethically, to engage in not just learning, but also opportunities for assessment.
Go through that slowly for me again. Use AI
wisely, judiciously,
that's
and
wisely.
ethically. Ethically.
Yes. Right.
Right? And by ethically, we mean there's a proper way to use it and there's a wrong way to use it.
Okay. And then no, not because some of us use it inappropriately, mean we must throw it away and say CXC mustn't use it. Am I correct?
Well, there are tools and resources and there are opportunities for embracing it. They are all, say, they're human-centered. I think that's the point you made earlier by saying that AI is created by man, all right? And it was created by the resources and tools by man for use by man.
I call it assimilated intelligence.
Okay, there you go. So that's the opportunity.
Still AI though, you know.
It is. It's another form of intelligence. There are all kinds of intelligences that we can use. So yes, so that's what we're doing in the organization to try to move towards the trends of the future.
Yes. Now, I think we have we're coming up to the break. And then we have the final segment, but we don't talk about your e-results. Like we have to talk again. There's so many things to talk about. But let me tell you something. All we normally hear about is students and exams. If you don't understand the work that goes into this organization, and you're not wasting time on the creativity and the research, and you thought about you plan for 50 years ahead. I wish the whole Caribbean and Jamaica and the politics was planning ahead. Then probably we'll be ahead. All right, gonna take a quick musical break and then we come back. Yes, what a bit of information. May I learn, you know, if we can't go take our exam again, what a thing. Are you not too old to take exam? No, man. CXC cater for everybody. Whether you're 10-year-old. Of course you have 10-year-old taking CXC. Or you're 90 and you can check it out. You know who need to take the exam? The mechanic, the who can fix, we can mash it up. Then if you have an exam for them, I'm sure they do. All right, so we're talking with Dr. Nicole Manning, Director of Operations at the CXC, and Dr. Eduardo Ali, Pro Registrar and Deputy CEO for the CXC. I'm Vernon Derby. This is Spot On coming to you from Jamaica, right in the middle of the Caribbean, where we say, well, we little about the Talawa. So come back. Don't move. No, I don't really be able to cover everything. We have probably another 10 minutes or so. But as we haven't talked about e-results, and I don't like this sexist thing, you know, they don't have she results. I don't understand you people, you know. And there are other things we need to talk about. So the floor is open to you.
So let me go. Let me say to you, Vernon, the good thing is that last year, when the candidates were student candidates, and even those who were out of school, they did the exam and we were able to release and provide them the results in their hands immediately. So instead of getting it on paper, what we are saying is that they were able to get the exam and they were able to get it in a way that the institutions, the employers were able to validate that it was authentic. And so the results they would have gotten the QR code, and when you go to your employer can quickly check it and realize that this is real, and that it's a candidates who would have done their work, gotten acceptable grades, and they are ready to be employed. They are ready to go to university or wherever. In the past, they would have had to get the preliminary and then wait on the certificate. So we were able to do that last year. We'll continue to do it this year. So that's the e-results you're seeing, where we get not only the results in their hands immediately as exams are marked and graded, and then we also move to e-transcripts also. That's why we call it e-results, because there are several things we are giving them electronically.
So hold on.
Sure.
That is not fear. You're like over that is a little crook, right? So we can't get me a little paper and do a little thing and change up the results again.
Not anymore.
My God.
We make sure that we put the systems in place to ensure we're protecting the person, protecting the candidates too, and protecting the employers and the universities and everyone who's going to use the results.
I see. So use your brilliance to pass the exam and do the work rather than use it to listen. People used to do all kind of things in the old time days, you know. That is good to hear.
So that's what we are trying to do.
So let me ask you how, let me learn more about this e-transcript. So if, for example, I go to a workplace, I could just transfer my thing directly to the company?
So you can just share it with them immediately. So you get the QR code, you can give them the QR code, they can use their phones immediately and scan it, and they are going right into the actual results to see that it is actually valid.
Look at what Vernon Derby lived to see. And not just the idea of born in the technology, but one thing is very clear is that you guys seem to be moving with the technology. By the way, to what extent the tertiary institutions are talking with you, you can respond that you don't have to. I'm throw it out there. To what extent they are communicating with you to make sure the sort of objective testing that you do rather than writing these long epistles like everybody doing thesis, to what extent do they have that at the tertiary levels right across the Caribbean? You're free to answer or not answer.
No, we do work with our tertiary institutions. It's very critical. They're a big partner for us right across the Caribbean. We do have persons we work with internationally. So our actual examination development, even the syllabus development is done in conjunction with our tertiary institutions, because we want to make sure that it's both ready for them in terms of the higher education as well as for the employer. So we work with industry and we work with the tertiary institutions to ensure that what the candidate is coming out with is value for them and value for the labor market.
No, what I want to know, though, is the systems that you have in place for assessing them, if the tertiary institutions have adopted that. I'm saying so because I can tell you they were not before. So I'm asking you, working with them is one thing. I want to know this sort of objective testing and how their questions they put, rather than just ask you general questions you write from now till the morning. Have they adopted some of the techniques and so on? For example, if I go to UTech or university, can I use QR code and transfer my results to another institution? I would just kind of change it up and say I got an A for our accounts.
No, you can't. No, that is why we have the QR codes, because you can't.
I'm not talking about you, I'm talking about the tertiary. I'm wanting to what extent the
tertiary themselves.
Yes.
So they themselves, because we work with them from the beginning, they have a vested interest also. So they're working with us from two fronts. One, in terms of being involved. Two, from a training perspective. And three, adopting the same technologies that we are using.
I hope so, because I'm not too sure about that. I hope that they are studying what you're doing and that you have to go to your take forever to get the results. Or if you want to transfer to another university or kind of rigmarole and anyhow, I hope so. I'm only trying to out there.
Vernon, can I come in
to speak,
also?
but I
yes, go again, Dr. Ali. I mean, you can speak for them. I'm only trying out there, so whoever is listening.
What I can say is to take up from what Dr. Manning just said is that we have a number of committees that we work with in the organization, which comprises individuals who are members of the examining committees, but also our subject panels that develops the syllabuses for the subjects. Now, all of them are engaged. They're aware of our methodologies, they have embraced the methodologies, and they work with those to make sure that that's done. Most of them come from universities and colleges across the region.
And high schools too.
And high schools as well.
Yes, that's what he did mention. You have a history of working very closely with educators.
Good. So to mention that in our engagement, we share our best practices, but they also share their best practices as they develop what we do. And so there's a learning both ways. And we have seen in a lot of respects, a lot of what we have been doing has been supported by, or in fact, informed by these experiences that these institutions are working with. So to say that they are not engaged or involved in making these changes, we can attest to the fact that many of them are, because we've seen what they've been doing. Maybe it's not being seen across.
Dr. Ali, you're being very nice, and the lawyer in me will simply ask, to what extent 50%, 90%, and I'm not asking you, so I'm putting it to you.
I can't say that.
That is why I can say that. That is why we still go to university to read for our degrees and not to go there to think analytically, to read. And when we leave there, we say we can't read very well. That can't help us. I'm putting it to you so that
what I can say is that we've been moving towards a skills-based approach. So our intention
that's another thing which I must tell you that
to ensure that skills are included in our syllabuses and those skills are assessed. Now, we didn't get the opportunity to talk about our innovation, CTech, but that is one prime example of how we're doing that. What that basically is, our Caribbean Targeted Education Certificate. For every subject we have, we are looking at the skills to be assessed, broken down by content and skills for every module for a subject.
I'm sure you have heard this one before.
Which one?
Your time is up.
Yeah, well, we know, but I'm just wanting to make that plug to say that all
in CXC, I learned that from you. Let's make your final point.
Right, and we indeed have that opportunity to ensure that as that is delivered, the rest of the region will follow, because we know that what we have is a product that's a best practice that others will eventually utilize where they can.
Dr. Manning?
Yes.
Your final word.
Okay, so my final word would be two things. CXC EZO at cxc.org. And we are one last point on working with the tertiary institutions. We have an upcoming conference in October 28th to the 30th, 2025. And we want to, it's in Jamaica at the Ocean Spring Hotel. And we know that we're going to have many persons working with us to get it done.
You send me that information right after. You see, I'll give you a little blind. When I'm in the exam, I say time up. I don't get the extra time, So, so I guess that was nice to you guys. Let me tell you something. I learned quite a bit, and I'm sure my listeners learned quite a bit, and we'll be circulating this information. Let me thank you very much, Dr. Nicole Manning, Director of Operations at the CXC, and also Dr. Eduardo Ali, Pro Registrar and Deputy CEO for the CXC. We have to continue to share with the public because you'll do great work. And if the public don't know about it, that's all now waste time. So we will be communicating with you in the future. Have a wonderful day, both of you.